This is the comprehension lesson that I got from page 173 of our book. It shows a part of a text from Edgar Allan Poe's Telltale Heart with blanks in it. But for these purposes, since I teach elementary school and they're definitely not reading Edgar Allan Poe, I just wrote with a crown a short little story just so you could see. I wanted it to be big enough for you to be able to see as opposed to this small little text here. So, what you do to promote comprehension with this is it's sort of like ad-lib, so it can be kind of fun, only they're not trying to make it silly, they're trying to make a story that makes sense. So you can type up your own story, or you can choose a story from a book that the students might be reading, and make sure they haven't read it before because then they might just be memorizing words, and then you could take any kind of colored tape or anything to cover up words that add meaning to the story that you'd like the students to be able to identify. Or if you're writing it yourself, then you have the ability to just leave it blank. So if I gave this text to my students, it's a short little text, and they would read it to themselves. So they would say, Sally and Mary blank to the park. The two blank had fun, swinging on the blank and sliding blank the slide. Okay, so they read it one time with all these blanks. In order to show that they understand the text and understand text structure as well, they have to add words into these blanks. So, let me grab a crown from over here. Sally and Mary blank to the park. So, went. That makes sense. Went to the park. So now my first blank says Sally and Mary went to the park. The two girls had fun swinging on the swings and sliding down the slide. Okay. Now chances are students aren't going to be able to insert exactly the same words that you were thinking of. Here they should have went. I personally can't think of anything else that would go here, but maybe you can. The two girls had fun swinging on the swings and sliding down the slide. Now if instead of down they said on, that would still make sense because when you're sliding you are on top of a slide. So as long as their story makes sense, then it shows that they have a high level of comprehension for that text. It can be a fun way for students to show their comprehension, and it can also be something that students can do without you. So during center time, a lot of times when teachers are meeting with small groups, for example during guided reading, if they don't have a special educator in the room or a paraprofessional, sometimes it's kind of hard to figure out what exactly to do with the other kids in order to promote comprehension and fluency, make sure it's not busy work. And this is definitely something that's not busy work. It's a really good way to be able to evaluate their understanding and their comprehension of stories. And it's fun for the kids because it's sort of like ad-libs, like I said. It's just, that it actually has to make sense. So that was my lesson. I got that from our book, again, on page 173 if you wanted a more detailed description. Hope you enjoyed it.